just want to share a little bit about this Jesus geezer this morning. I want to share a little bit about what he's done in my life, how he's changed my life, how he's changed my heart. And I bear witness to what he's done in many others' lives, and I know he can do the same in your life as well. But I'll share a little bit about my life. I had a normal childhood growing up. I knew nothing about church or God or anything like that. And by the age of 12, I didn't really do much school. I weren't the school type. So I sort of left school way before I should have done, but I started work on the Leicester City Market, and I had a blast. I was working hard, I was earning money. I was earning more money at the age of 12 than most 18-year-olds were in that era. And I did that for quite a few years, and I was fortunate. I got to know many people, and I sort of got to look at how the world worked and what that all looked like. Anyways, I was doing that for 4 or 5 years, but I started to buy and sell, and you see, I got a bit addicted to that money. I liked that money. I could earn some serious money, and so I started to buy and sell myself as well, and then I sort of got into the wrong crowds a little bit, and then I was sort of selling more than I was buying, but I was stealing and selling. And I started doing that a little bit more, and I got in troubles with the police and all of that sort of stuff. And by my early 20s, I was still working very hard. I'd really started drinking a lot by then, and I started going out with the wrong people and the wrong crowds and doing stuff and getting involved in stuff that I really shouldn't have done. And then the drugs thing started to take over a little bit, and you see I got a taste for that. I wanted all the glamour and the glitz of life, so I started doing the drugs thing, and it got hold of me. I started to party hard. I was living fast. I was buying, I was selling, I was stealing, I was running fast in life. I was hurting many people. I was living fast, selfishly just doing whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted to do that. And I did that for quite some time. And you see, what I was actually doing, which I didn't know at the time, I was trying to fill the void in my life. You see, I had a void in my heart. And I believe that we've all got that void, and we all try and fill that in different ways. And I tried to fill that with life, the highs of life. I would party hard. I would holiday hard. I'd do everything fast. And that continued and continued till it got to a point where I'd have to do it in the week to keep me going, as I would look forward to the weekends just to party hard, to do whatever I wanted to do when I wanted to do it. And I was leaving a trail of destruction behind me. But I was lost in my brokenness. I was lost in my quest to find some peace. And those glitters of life, they don't fulfill. They don't fulfill anything. They just burn you out. And I was getting burnt out. I was getting high on life, but it was burning me out. And it got to a point where I just had enough. I was malnutritioned with life, if that makes sense. I'd done all the drugs, all the parties. I'd been and done whatever I felt I could do and wanted to do, but it never satisfied. I was searching and searching to try and get this peace. I couldn't sit still. I wanted the peace. And I was just burnt out with life. And I remember driving home very late one night after working a really late shift, and it was about 11:30, about 11:17 on a Tuesday night. It was chucking it down with rain. And I just cried out. I said, if there's a God, I looked up, I said, if there's a God, help me, I can't do this anymore. I didn't know if I wanted to check out. You know, I thought I could do this. I could just race this car straight into that tree, job done. I ain't got to carry that baggage, that pain, and life was empty. But clearly I didn't do that. So I cried out to God. I cried out to God. I didn't know anything about God. I didn't know what had happened. I didn't expect anything to happen, you see. But I think with immediate effect, God came into my life at that point, into my heart, and he started to change me. He started to heal me. He started to fix me up, but in a pace that he knew I could sustain. And I didn't see all of that at the time. And he changed me. He restored me gradually and slowly. And I don't know if your voids are crying out to be filled. And I believe that there's only one thing that can fill those voids, and that's Jesus Christ. You see, but I had to cry out to God. And I was too proud to cry out to God before, because I felt I could do it on my own strength. I could do it my way. But when there was nothing left, I cried out to my Creator. And I cried out and asked him to come into my life. You see, God won't just penetrate your life. You've got to ask him into your life, because he created us with free will, just as your children and you have free will. Because if we didn't have that free will, we'd be robots. And God didn't create robots. He wanted us to have choices and make decisions, you know, but he loves us just as we love our children and more. And you want the very best for your children. They don't always listen to you, but you want the best for your children. And we can only, you know, our children get to a certain age and we can only advise and help and encourage and support. But they have to come to a point where they want that help. You see, I had to get to that point where I cried out to God, and he changed, he blessed me. And as he started to heal me and restore me, he brought my wife into my life, and he blessed my life. And then he enriched my life. He enriched my life, and I started to do life in full colour. And you've got to do life in full colour. If you're not doing life in full colour, oh man, you've got to get that Jesus geezer in your heart, because you'll do life in full colour. It's amazing. You don't have to walk around with heavy baggage of regret and guilt and pain and sadness on your back. You don't have to do that, because when you ask God into your heart, that heavy load that you're carrying is gone. It's just gone. He carries it for you. But it's better than that, because he gives you life in full colour, but he gives you an eternity for free. Now I know that, you know, I've got less years in front of me than I've got behind me, I suspect, unless I can get to 102, but I'm not sure about that. But I just know that when I do check out from this world, I know that I've got an eternity with the God that actually created me, the one who's given me full colour in this life. So my challenge to you is, if you're lost, let's get found. I was lost, I got found by Jesus. Life was empty, and he gave me life in full colour. You've got to do life in full colour. It is amazing. And you get eternity for free. Eternity for free. And all you have to do is say, Jesus, come into my heart and my life. Be the Lord of my life, change me. And I guarantee you, you'll do life in full colour. Thanks for listening. Bless you all.